welcome to my channel, or welcome back, loyal viewers. I'm Kerry, the Nosy Hausfrau, and today I'm going to be sticking my nose in on Wayne Goss's video, Breaking My Silence on the Beauty Community. If you don't know who Wayne Goss is, he's a makeup artist slash entrepreneur who has amassed over 3 million subscribers with some very popular videos on beauty, such as a 2014 video, "This Foundation Tip Can Change Your Life," that has nearly 9 million views. I personally love his videos, and I find him as personable as he is knowledgeable. Anyone looking for great professional tips should be subbed to Wayne Goss. He also had the good sense to be born in England, so he has an excellent, pleasant accent. On top of that, Wayne came out with his own brushes and makeup line. Yikes, mama ain't made of money, but his products look really good. Further to his credit, he never made a channel called Wayne Glosson. Thank you. Wayne's recent video, Breaking My Silence on the Beauty Community, seems to be less about the beauty community and more about drama channels. I'm going to link it below in case you want to watch it and come back. But let's break it down. Wayne starts out saying that the beauty community is the most toxic community on YouTube, leaving me to wonder how many communities are there, but also how many has Wayne immersed himself in enough to know? YouTube has many communities, and I couldn't find one that didn't have drama. Aside from beauty, there's the gaming community, and oh boy, do they have some toxic issues. There's the gacha, based on gachapon vending machines. It's Japanese vending machines that print out. Anyway, don't mess. There's also the chess community. They have clashes. The candle community. You don't want a piece of them. Have you heard of the Lolita community? That's a fashion community based on Japanese streetwear with a Victorian influence. Yes, that's a thing. And yes, they have their conflicts. The ASMR community, a community designed around relaxation, has infighting. I'm going to name all of the people I hate. Go to sleep. So there is no community on YouTube that doesn't have its share of conflict and problematic people. I think it's safe to say you will find toxic people anywhere, but especially where there is the potential for money and fame. Wayne may not be looking beyond his beauty community scope on this one. After that, Wayne begins to talk about channels that make videos criticizing other people. I don't think this is a case of me not looking beyond my scope when I say I can only assume he's talking about drama and commentary channels. It becomes quite clear when he creates an analogy that a person making a video about someone, as he put it in a very negative way, is a butcher, and the person they are talking about is a lamb. He never says who the butchers are, but clearly the lambs are the beauty influencers everyone talks about. Like James Charles, he's an innocent lamb in this scenario. Hi, set stars. Wayne goes on to say that the spectators of this start to salivate and want a piece of what is happening, and they become the butcher by commenting, liking, sharing, and in essence, keeping the slaughter going. Wayne says people want to see someone punished for bad behavior, but often there is no proof. That's his claim. He says that the problem with the beauty community is that. But he's not describing the beauty community, he's describing the drama community. So now we're getting more vague. We don't know who these butchers are, and now they don't even have proof. They, whoever they are butchers who lie, and the viewer is a mindless, bloodthirsty drama zombie. A drombie, if you will. Then, for reasons I don't understand, Wayne puts up a text card on the screen with the definition of reckless endangerment, which I thought was odd given that he had just described slander, libel, and defamation. I had to look up UK law on that to see if it was different across the pond, and unless I'm incorrect, it turns out no. Reckless endangerment, although worded a bit differently, means essentially the same thing there as it does in the US. It primarily refers to bodily harm or the risk thereof through recklessness. So how is that relevant? Because whoever the butchers are, the only thing they're possibly wielding like a blunt instrument is the truth as they see it. And in case the butcher analogy didn't drive the message home, Wayne paints another picture. Imagine you're sitting at home and watching a man on a roof about to jump. On the ground are tens of thousands of cheering, clapping people. He says if you saw this in real life, you'd be horrified, you'd be disgusted, but that's what we're seeing all the time on YouTube in the comment section. He then posts a bunch of mean comments on the screen, but we don't know where they are from. They're mean comments for sure. Some were definitely about Toddy because it referenced her peace shirt and lawyers approving the message, and one I think was at least about Shane because it was called the P word. So he's talking about those two at least. But they are mean comments. At least that's how I saw them. No one, he says, is addressing how these comments can harm someone vulnerable, and that's paraphrasing. But he does say that no one's addressing this. But it does come up a lot, so I feel like Wayne might be missing this too. When he says no one is saying a thing about it, he's saying no one, so he's talking about everyone, and that's patently false. Many people, myself included, have voiced concern about landslides of hate. Moreover, many vloggers, I'm guessing most, have filters that catch most inappropriate words, so you don't usually see the really mean stuff unless you're on some other form of social media. In part, that's because Count de Monet may visit over inappropriateness, even in the comments, but also we want to set a precedent that if you say mean things, they will vanish into the ether, and the author of the nastygram is further wasting their time because they'll never see them posted and they will likely go unread. Wayne continues, saying when you're getting that much hate, your mind isn't working correctly because you're under stress. I agree with that statement, and it tells me where he's coming from. Wayne is definitely coming from a place of concern and compassion. That much is clear to me. He's very worried about the potential for tragedy, and I myself worry that it's a matter of when rather than if. But when that time comes, it's not likely I will see everyone as being responsible as Wayne claims they will be. It will be a case-by-case basis, of course, and there are variables to consider in all of this vagueness, but I feel he's implying that people sharing ideas and opinions is tantamount to bullying, even emotional torture. For me, that's an extreme stance. Again, I don't know if he has a specific video or scenario in mind. He may be trying to protect someone's name or even himself by not saying, but if there was truth in that statement that we are all responsible, I don't understand why the focus is on YouTube comments and YouTube videos easily avoided by anyone who doesn't want to see them, and not on other social media platforms where a person can't avoid the vitriol so easily. Twitter, for example, not a good place to be if you're fragile. Wayne says he's concerned that people are perpetuating this so-called slaughter by sharing YouTube videos, but again, no one has to click on that. And drama isn't born on YouTube. It's not even conceived there. It's born on Twitter, Instagram, mostly Twitter in my experience. And the proof of that is that when a scandal or a situation arises, before any vlogger can even turn on their camera to record their thoughts, the aforementioned lamb is going to be lamb chopped on Twitter or Instagram, where they are tagged, directly spoken to, and reached out to in DMs often. And although there's nothing wrong with suggesting people lay off a bit and not have the stomach to be so mean, if you think you're going to stop people from commenting when a beauty influencer does something problematic, you're fighting a tidal wave with a thimble. A large number of people having the same impression of a situation doesn't automatically equal torches and pitchforks. It could mean someone has violated a social norm and there is a natural collective of similar reasoning. On top of that, we don't know how many are just trolls trying to stir the pot. I appreciate where Wayne is coming from, but I think in his empathy for those under duress, he hasn't paused to consider he may have a skewed perception of the numbers. Ultimately, there is no data to suggest that people venting their frustrations, reasonably or otherwise, in YouTube comments, becomes a beast that needs to be fed. It doesn't flatter vloggers or viewers to say we are the equivalent of a gladiator audience waiting up for a pound of flesh, that we don't need truth or facts, we're just thirsting for the carnage that has become a delicious habit. For all we know, the majority of people are satisfied when they can have their say and walk away. We are talking about millions of people here. For example, when's the last time we heard someone give Jacqueline a hard time over her Sasquatch lipsticks that she handled so poorly? Certainly not recently, not as much as it was when it came out. Things blow over. And if she's getting new criticism, it's probably due to new behavior or something that wasn't handled very well, but it's still not the same as it was. You can't expect people to have no voice even when there's millions of them. And finally, Wayne called for people to not engage, like, share, or view these butcher videos. And in the same breath, he says he's not canceling anyone. He's not calling for canceling, just don't view them. You do know view count is where AdSense comes in, don't you? Telling people they don't have to unsubscribe but shouldn't watch, like, or comment, or share, well, that's canceled in pretty packaging. And what's the point of vlogging if no one's going to listen anyway? And most of us don't have $175 makeup brushes to sell, Wayne. We rely on views. And you may not know this, but Mama's got raccoons to feed. Take a look at this face. Look at it, Wayne. This is what you want to cancel, you monster. All right, I may have gone a little far. All jokes aside, maybe Wayne's message isn't casting as wide a net as it seems. Maybe he means just a small margin of the very mean. But again, that's not very clear to me. And if that's the case, that's such a small group, it wouldn't create the ripple effect Wayne perceives in this mass pile-on of mindless drumbees he seems to be describing. In the end, although I don't agree with his numbers or what sounds like a silencing of dissent and a halt to conversations so necessary for growth and accountability, how can I condemn a man calling for peace? We don't have enough calls for peace. And since Wayne is someone with empathy who would stop and think before doing harm, that makes him one of the good ones. Maybe by virtue of putting up a video that has a dissenting view, one can be mistaken for being hateful. I hope not, because I'd like to see this conversation continue, and I don't think we're moving forward if we think the answer is to effectively boycott any channel saying anything less than complimentary to beauty influencers. Commiseration and civil discourse should not be dismissed as chum dumped in the waters of YouTube to create a frenzy. Wayne Goss has immense empathy. It occurs to me, if the beauty influencers he's worried about had half his heart, we probably wouldn't be having this conversation. If you've listened this far, I so appreciate you. As always, I will shamelessly hawk my merch, my Patreon, my P.O. Box, and my other social media below. Thank you very much for your support. I look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comment section below. Until next time, Hausfrau out.